Today we're tackling something I've been wanting to do for a long time. Once and for all, we're going to find out which thinner is the absolute best for airbrushing acrylic paint. I gathered 5 different thinners the miniature painters and airbrush artists talk about the most. We're going to put them through the exact same test, side by side, so by the end of this video you'll know exactly which one is worth your time. Let's begin, shall we? To make this fair, I'm using the Retarder and Steenbeck Infinity 2024. This airbrush is less forgiving than most, and it tends to clog more easily. That makes it perfect for this test, because if a thinner works well in this brush, you know it's really doing its job. It also has a unique needle stopper at the back, which lets me lock the needle to stop at the exact same point every single time. Even if I pause the test, clean the airbrush and come back, I can return to that identical stopping point. That means every thinner gets tested under exactly the same conditions. For each test, I'll mix 2 drops of Vallejo Game Air, dark green, one of the most popular paints among miniature painters, with 10 drops of the thinner we're testing. Then I'll spray continuous lines on a sketchbook until we hit dry tip. The needle stopper is set, so the airbrush is just barely spraying, giving me clear, consistent lines without overspray or spider webs. Same paint, same dilution, same pressure of 15 psi, same needle stop. No excuses, no variations. I'll be using the same dropper bottle for every test, because each thinner comes with a different dropper, and that means the drop sizes wouldn't be consistent. By using the same bottle, we make sure the results are accurate. This is actually the same dropper bottle I use for all my airbrushing. It's super precise, and I'll leave a link to it in the video description. By the way, I've actually conducted this exact test before and shared it on my Patreon page. In that version, besides showing the same spraying tests you're about to see here, I also included close-up microscope pictures of the needles, so you can see in detail the effect of dry tip that each thinner has. If you want to dig deeper into the technical side and help support the channel, please consider joining me on Patreon. Test 1. Distilled water. We're starting with plain distilled water. Cheap, easy to find, and it will absolutely get paint to spray. But let's see how it performs. 2 drops of paint, 10 drops of distilled water, same needle stop as always. At first it sprays fine, but pretty quickly we hit dry tip. So yes, you can use distilled water with any acrylic-based paint, but I wouldn't recommend it. It just makes the whole experience stressful, and you'll be cleaning that tip constantly. Test 2. Vallejo Airbrush Thinner. When I first started airbrushing and searched for a thinner, this was the first one to come up and the most recommended. It had thousands of positive reviews, so I went with it, and I used it for quite a long time before trying anything else. But after all my testing, I just don't recommend it. For me, it's the worst thinner of the bunch. As you can see, I don't get much further with it, so I just don't see the advantage. I would rather just spray with water. If it's what you have, you can get through it. And here's how. You'll need flow improver and a transparent thin retarder. My favorite is Createx Retarder. After a lot of experimenting, the best mix I've found is 50% Vallejo thinner, 30% flow improver, and 20% retarder. That helps the paint flow better, slows tip dry, and makes it much less frustrating. With this mix, I can get much further before needing to clean. Test 3. Army Painter Airbrush Thinner. More common these days, especially if you're already using their paints. Same mix and settings as before. It actually performs a little better than Vallejo's on its own, but dry tip still kicks in very quickly. I'm not going to show it, But just like with Vallejos, you can improve it with the same mix. 50% thinner, 30% flow improver, 20% retarder. That gives you more spraying time before clogging, but on its own, it's not my go-to. Test 4. Createx 4021 Reducer. Designed for Createx paints, but I find it works very well with other acrylics like Vallejo. Since Createx came out with this, it's been my go-to, at least until recently. Same setup, 2 drops of paint, 10 drops of reducer. The difference is clear. I can get almost to the bottom of the page without getting a dry tip. That's a huge improvement over everything we've tested so far. By experimenting, I found a way to push the performance of the Createx reducer even further. You'll need a flow improver and retarder, but in this case you don't need as much. By adding that 20% flow improver and 10% retarder, just look at the results. It keeps going and going and going. I can get so many more lines before tip dry finally shows up. Eventually it happens, but this mix really boosts the performance by a lot, and I've been very happy with it. Test 5. Atom Thinner with Retarder by Ammo by Mig. Finally, this is the product that recently replaced Createx 4021 as my go-to thinner, and here's why. Same setup, 2 drops of paint, 10 drops of thinner. You know what? I'm not gonna say anything. Just look at what it does and judge for yourself. One minute? 2 minutes? 3 minutes? 4 minutes? 5 minutes? It's still going. And then it stops, not because of dry tip, but because I ran out of paint. My gosh, this trigger. Why did they do this to us? I mean, this is not even a comparison with anything else. There was really no point to show you any of the others. But now you understand, there is an abyss in performance between this thinner and everything else. So there you have it. The search is over. For me, nothing else even comes close. If you want the smoothest, longest, and most consistent spraying sessions without the constant cleaning, the Atom Thinner with Retarder is the one to get. If you enjoyed this video, leave it a like and subscribe. And join me in the pursuit to become the fastest airbrush slinger in the West. Hey!